Ohio. We're high on Ohio. These stories inform and inspire through the words of people who make Ohio home. Good news and good ideas, identifying and acknowledging the excellence that is all around us. This is Gene Krebs, and on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions, we're high on Ohio. We're going around this great state, and we're talking to people who are making a difference and have the influence to make these things happen. It's my good pleasure to be joined today by Representative Terry Boose, who's from the Huron County area, if I remember correctly. The reason I like Terry is several years ago, I was appearing in front of his committee, and he had already expressed his doubts as to a certain issue. And I laid out for him some facts about the issue. And he then questioned me, okay, are these my sources? What do my sources say? And then I said, yeah, here's my sources. He went, well, dag nabbit, I guess I gotta change my mind on this. And that's remarkably rare and unfortunately rare around here.
Well, that's what we're here for, and that's what hearings are for, and hopefully people don't think that we come down here with everything pre-planned and what we're going to do, because the hearings are so important to a bill, and until we get all the information, it's really hard to make a decision, a final decision. We can certainly have our opinions, and it's good to have the opinions and let people know where we stand, so that when the facts come out, then we can make the right decision based on what the true facts are.
You've recently introduced House Bill 24. Can you tell us a little bit about that bill and what pushed it forward to the top of your head?
House Bill 24 has been an idea that's not new to the State House. It's been talked about for the last few years. And basically what House Bill 24 does is it looks at what we down in Columbus call tax expenditures. Now, a lot of people probably aren't aware of what that term means, but tax expenditures pretty much are money that gets taken away from the tax collection for whatever reason it might be. A lot of people would like to call them loopholes, but it's, I'm sure they were all crafted for a good purpose at the time, but once we get a bill that puts in for a tax credit or a tax change for whatever reason that might be, it's kind of there on the books for a long time, if not forever. Now, some do have sunsets to them, but that's kind of more of a newer thought or idea about tax expenditures. And we've had some that go all the way back, I think, to the introduction of income tax in Ohio. What my bill does is it reviews, it would make sure that we review all those tax expenditures. It would set up a committee to review, and each, quote, tax expenditure would be reviewed at least once every 5 years. And the idea behind that is to look and see if the original idea behind that is still needed,
Still valid,
and is it doing Ohio good? Because what my bill wants is, I think any tax expenditure we have should be for a benefit for Ohio.
What this reminds me of is a little bit, there's more of a call now for audits going on. And what you're actually calling for, another way to put it, is you're calling for a performance audit of this tax expenditure, tax credit, tax loophole, whatever you want to call it, to see is it actually reaching its purpose.
That's a very good way of putting it, and I never really thought of it that way, but that is what we want to do. We want to go back and look at each one of them and do an evaluation and saying, is Ohio better because of that tax expenditure? If it is, great. Then let's look at it for in another 5 years, keep it going, not out there forever. I think we should always be reevaluating. I guess one of the things that brought me to this bill is that a few years ago, we introduced a tax credit for the film industry. And I always had my questions is that what we should be doing?
But now here we're on film.
And now, right,
By
exactly.
the way, full disclosure, we get no tax credits for doing this. And the other full disclosure I need to make is that Center for Community Solutions, about 3 or 4 years ago, was one of the leading groups on coming out and saying, we need to do such an audit that you've described here too. So it was the filming of the Avengers up in Cleveland that got you started thinking about this.
It really did, and then we got the report back from Cleveland, I think it was even Cleveland State.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland State did a report as to the return on every dollar for the tax credit that we
Yeah.
had. And it was pretty amazing. It was like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's keep doing this one. And so we expanded it at that time. Now, do I think forever a tax credit for the film industry is the right way to go? Absolutely not. When that time comes, I'm not sure. But if we can review it every few years, and I think that particular bill does have a sunset in it,
Yeah.
so that it does get reviewed. And that's one of the other reasons why I got into this bill is we started talking about the sunsets that some of these newer bills have and saying, you know, that's a good idea. Let's review it, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. If it's not, we either need to change it or eliminate it. So we have some bills out there that have been there for a long time, or some laws, and I just want to review them, have a independent committee, a committee of both House and Republicans and Democrats, and somebody from the tax commission looking at them, come out with a report.
Okay.
Every other year, we will come out with a report to the House, Senate, and the governor's office, and saying, these are the ones we reviewed this year or these 2 years, and we want you to take a look at them and see if there's changes that should be made.
All right. Well, this is Gene Krebs. I'm on behalf of the Center for Community Solutions. We've been going around the state talking to people. Today we've been talking to Terry Boose, Representative Terry Boose, about his plan to do a evaluation of our various tax credits. Tune in tomorrow as we continue this conversation, Representative Boose.